we have a new character. I will not be pulling on her, but I do want to talk about her for a little bit. Because a lot of people have been asking, should I pull, should I not pull? And it kind of depends on the state of your account, which we will go into the live screen here in a second. So I want to talk about her real quick and who she's good with, what your account needs to be like, and what impact she is going to have on your account. So the character in question is Roccia, which has been under heavy debate. There's been a lot of pull, don't pull, she's bad, she's not bad, etc, etc. Is she good? Yes. Is she on the same power level as some of the other must pulls like Shorekeeper, Verena? No. And yes, at the same time, it kind of... So at the end of the day, let's go to the events here to kind of show how she plays. Because I'm not going to be pulling on her. I'm a little bit low spending. So she is very easy to play. So the way you would play her is you start off with your healer, as you usually do. Nothing new there. You press E to do that. Build up your Concerto energy with your healer. Then Echo, swap. Immediately skill. Bounce 3 times. Now, theoretically, now you would ult after that. Echo skill. Main DPS. And then you just go ham. She also has like, she has a suck. She turns your once swapping off, she also will turn your gadget for 1 attack into a light suction. So first off, let's go over her real quick. Let's look at her and see who she would be good with. First off, the obvious suspect, Camellia. She is debatably and arguably Camellia's best in slot. I say debatably because there are alternative options, and that'll also depend on your account. Additionally, Havoc Rover is really good with her. Havoc Rover is fantastic with her. She really does help Havoc Rover out. Havoc Rover really wants to nuke a lot of his Havoc damage. He does basic attack damage if you use him as a hyper carry. And then he can basically, she can suck everything into one general location and make it easier for his whole ult to just burn through everything in a single burst. But that's about it. Those are the only 2 characters. Pause. Past tense Sunar here. Hi. I want to put in another character that Roccia is actually pretty good with, and that would actually end up being Donjon. Donjon is decent with her, as she does a lot of basic attacks and a lot of Havoc damage. That being said, most of her damage comes from her heavy attack and not her basic attack, and the only really benefit that she's getting is the grouping. But my issue with that is Donjon's attacks tend to push enemies around anyways, so it doesn't really matter, because you'll just suck enemies up into a vortex and put them in one location, and Donjon will just spread them all across anyways before her full combo is finished. Yes, you have the little gadget thing, but I mean, Donjon, in my opinion, suits nowadays more as a sub DPS than the main DPS, unless you're doing solo stuff. But that's just my personal opinion. I can be totally wrong on that. If you want to use Donjon as a main DPS, Roccia is fine for that as well. I just wanted to put that in before publishing the video. Anyways, back to the video. Now, for Havoc Rover specifically, we also have Donjon. And for Camellia and Havoc Rover, we have Sanhua. Now, how does Roccia work? And this is kind of the iffy point when it comes to free-to-play players, is that her main thing, I believe is it her forte? No, it's her liberation. Here. Roccia's improvised comedy begins, dealing havoc damage to the target, considered heavy attack damage, for every 0.1% of Roccia's crit rate over 50%. This skill increases the attack of all resonators in the team by 1 point for 30 seconds up to 200 points. Now, 200 points doesn't seem a lot, but when you consider it, it's about 19 or 20% bonus attack for the entire party for 30 seconds, which is great. That is actually pretty dang good. She also buffs basic attack damage and havoc attack damage, which is also very good. She also has grouping, which can't be considered into the numbers, but the grouping is substantial. I would consider her to be actually the best grouper in the game right now. She can group everything up so incredibly easily. And up until recently, Yang Yang and arguably Jian were the best groupers in the game. She has a significantly better grouping than both of those characters combined. She is so much easier to do and group everything together. Now, the downside is, now bear in mind with that 20%. Now, let's see. Do we get a view of her outro ability? We do not, which is an issue. I wish we could. How can we see her outro? We can't. But if I remember correctly, her outro increases basic attack and havoc attack damage. Okay, but I don't remember the value. I need to check up on it. Let me the outro's in the bottom of the skill. Okay, let me go. I want to make sure I have all my facts straight, which is what, thank you, Drepo, by the way. Thank you. Okay, 20% and 25%, so that's about a 45 675% increase in damage for Camellia and Havoc Rover, which combined, I suppose it's not quite 70% because it's split, but I'm just combining those because I can. Mainly Camellia, but, and here's the big but. Now let's talk about the big elephant in the room right here, Sanhua. Now, if you have a sequence 0 Danjin / Sanhua, then she is very good for your account because she will apply a bigger buff than both of those characters. However, if you do have a sequence 6 Sanhua or Danjin, then she is a strict side grade. She is not any better. In fact, if though Sanhua and Danjin will probably add more, if not just as much, to the team, than Roccia, especially considering that Danjin and Sanhua have significantly shorter rotations. Now, Roccia does more damage. She is very much a sub DPS where she stays on field for a while and her damage is actually really good. So that offsets mixed with the grouping, that offsets the longer field time that she requires. That being said, Sanhua and Danjin both will require significantly less field time, and they probably add just as much, if not more, damage to the main resonator, to your main DPS. So this is why I think it kind of depends on your account, because for newer players, it is arguable that it is a significant increase to their account's overall power. But if you already have a sequence 6 Danjin and Sanhua, you're really not getting anything that's buffing your existing team. Thank you, Lyra. Hi, Lyra, how you doing? Thank you so much for the hydrate. I don't have anything to hydrate myself. You just reminded me. But yes, you don't really have anything that adds to the team that you don't already have. So I would say that it is better for newer players, worse for players who've been playing a while. Bad being, get water. I will after I'm done recording this. That being said, another thing that makes me kind of hesitant on recommending her to newer players is that she needs 70% crit rate and being a gauntlet user. That is not easy to get if you're free to play. Your substats need to roll incredibly well or have Shorekeeper, which is also a limited. The only free 4-star option that we have for free to play is Stonard, which is quote unquote free to play, is Stonard, which you can only get in the battle pass. So at the end of the day, it comes down to, are you new? Do you like Roccia? But I would not say that she is as impactful as other 5-stars that have come out. But I don't think she's bad, especially if you are a newer player. If you're a newer player, she's going to do much more for your account than if you are a older player. But my rant about Roccia done.